is Justin at the Schwab Review, and today I get to talk about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. It's the last Christopher Reeve Superman movie, and sadly it is the last. Not because it's the last time Christopher Reeve plays Superman, but because it's such a terrible movie. Really sucks that it's the last time Christopher Reeve got to play Superman. It's the last part of this series. It's really sad, because this is a bad one. The movie is both better and worse than Superman 3. Some of the things that's better is that it's actually a Superman story. It's not a Richard Pryor comedy with Superman thrown in. It's actually a movie about Superman. And he actually has like a legit dilemma in this. So that's really cool. They got Gene Hackman back as Lex Luthor, which I don't know how they did that, but he's good. He actually still has some energy. You don't think he would, because he was never big into like returning. Like he didn't want to reshoot anything for Superman 2 because he didn't want to do anything with Richard Lester. So I'm still surprised that they got him back for this and that he was actually given a good performance. He wasn't just phoning it in. And that's what most of the cast is in this movie. They're actually pretty good. They're not amazing or anything, but they're not bad. You can tell they're trying and they want it to be a better movie. And like I said, the storyline has some intriguing points, and that kind of focuses on a dilemma that Superman has to face. But yeah, that's basically it. The movie the effects are god awful. Some of the worst effects in a movie. That you can see the strings a lot of times, or the curtains trying to be the space, and it looks really bad. The plot is this. It takes place. It's during the 80s, obviously, because one of the major themes of the movie is nuclear disarmament. So it's a very 80s movie. And this kid writes a letter to David Planet saying that Superman should do this because he can. He's strong enough. Why doesn't he just stop all the nuclear missiles? Why just get rid of them all? And Superman struggles with this dilemma. Like, should I interfere with this, or should I just let it go? Like, let it go. But then these couldn't lead to the end of the world, so he decides yes, he will destroy all the nuclear missiles, and he does that. And in the process, Lex Luthor gets out of jail, not surprising, and he plans to create. It's not a real estate scam, which I like, compared to the first two movies and Superman Returns. It's not about real estate. It's just really cheaply about killing Superman, but. He decides he gets a strand of Superman's hair, so he has some Superman's DNA, mixes it in with some stuff, puts it onto a nuclear bomb, and shoots the bomb off in the air. And when Superman takes it, throws it into the sun, that creates Nuclear Man, who kind of like Superman. He has a lot of power, but he's evil. That's how complex Nuclear Man is, and Superman has to fight him off. Basically, yeah, that's it. The movie had 45 minutes of footage cut from it, so this movie is only 89 minutes long. 89. The original runtime was like 130. So, I don't think the movie would be a whole lot better with the stuff put in. It would just be more coherent. Because there's a lot of plot holes and things that just don't make sense, and the ending of this movie is so rushed. And most of the reason is the fact that a lot of stuff was cut out. A lot of the explanation stuff. There's a whole subplot where Lex Luthor creates a different Nuclear Man, and then Superman kills him, and so then he decides to create the one that we see in the movie now. That's a whole subplot. They just took it out. So that's one of the things is they tried to make it an actual return to form, which I really like. If you have the DVD, if you actually own it, I do. But there's an audio commentary on there by one of the screenwriters. And it's a really great audio commentary because he's not just sitting there bashing the movie the whole time like, oh god, that's terrible, oh, that's awful. But he's not like shamelessly trying to defend it like, oh no, that was actually a really good idea, that's what we were trying to do. He's really honest about it. Like he talks about how the financial issues really screwed with everything and the original plans. It's really honest, and he really talks about how the original script was a really different movie and actually would have been a decent movie, and how their plans was for this to kind of be like the Superman Returns type movie. Like Superman 3 pissed off a lot of people, even Christopher Reeve, who wasn't satisfied with it at all. I remember reading like an article where it says like I don't think Richard Pryor falling off of a building wearing skis and a tablecloth is particularly funny. And I agree. But you can tell that the people behind it, not the studio's a bunch of idiots who don't care. The people, the filmmakers, people behind it were trying to make a return to form. This is going to be like returning to the epicness and the seriousness, but still fun, of the first two. And I give them props for that. At least they knew the problem. They weren't just like, yeah, we're doing Superman 4, let's just do it. I respect that, and that's why this movie gets a few more points than it really should, but I like that about it. And the biggest problem is the producers were kind of like done with Superman. Superman 3 wasn't well received. It made a decent amount of money, but wasn't a huge success. Then they did a spin-off, Supergirl, and that flopped. I'm not going to be talking about that. I've never seen it and don't plan to. That movie flopped, so they're kind of like, well, we're done. So they sold the rights to Canon Films, which is a well-known B-movie studio. And so they were going to make the movie, but they had so much, because of the B-movie studio, they make a ton of stuff. So they were making a lot of other movies, and they didn't give this movie any special attention at all. Which I'm so surprised that they got the whole original cast from the movie. You know, like Margot Kidder, got Lois Lane, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, all those actors back, and and Christopher Reeve, and they even got Gene Hackman. Which I'm surprised how they could do that. But so they slashed the budget, and they were getting rid of money during the whole making of the movie. They were losing money while making it, and they had to cut so many corners. There was so many stuff where they didn't get to shoot as much stuff as they needed to. Like, they needed to do a lot of extra flying shots. Only had like a day to do it, but they were supposed to have like 5. Stuff like that. So I don't like. I think the movie's terrible, but I can't blame it for mostly everything. Like, I feel like inside, if it was given the proper budget, proper like treatment, even with the storyline, it would be decent. I don't think it'd be great. But it'd be at least in a watchable and maybe enjoyable Superman movie. But the fact that they had to cut so many corners for Nuclear Man, they wanted it to be Christopher Reeve playing Nuclear Man, which would have been awesome. Like an evil Superman flying around, kind of like Superman 3, but actually interesting. That would have been awesome. But instead we get whatever actor played him, who just looks so out of place and so goofy. Just look at him like, what? Not believable at all. And it's just a really cheap. The movie just kind of feels cheap while watching it. It's surprising when the actors actually are good. And the movie has so many numerous mistakes. People breathe in space without spacesuits. One of the girls, she's the main character. I don't feel like explaining her, but Nuclear Man falls in love with her for some random and unnecessary reason, just for the end, and flies her up into space. And yeah, she's in space. Like, she didn't burn up in the atmosphere going in, and she's just in space breathing. Like, Superman talks in space. Like that. Makes sense of that. The wires are seen. So many times that you can only see the wires. And again, Superman has these powers that he shouldn't have. This thing where they're in the Great Wall of China, Nuclear Man blows like blows it apart. And then Superman has to like build it back. And I've heard in the comic book adaptation, you see him speeding around building it back up. Well, no, in this movie he uses his telekinesis to rebuild it. He just stands there like staring at it. And you see it rebuilds itself. They reused the Superman 2 Magic Kiss, which I don't like. I never liked that. And that scene is another really pointless scene. There's a few pointless scenes in this movie that go nowhere. One scene where Superman's all distressed, like, what should he do? Should he stop all the nuclear bombs or not? And Lois comes over, so he's like, just to amuse myself, I'm going to tell her I'm Superman, fly around the city like Superman 1, and then come back and magic kiss her, and she won't remember a thing. That's the scene. I don't know what's the point of it at all. It retreads the first movie. The effects look awful of them flying. Really pointless. And there's some things I don't get. When he pops up, when he reveals that he is Superman, he asks her, like, oh, did you know all along? And she's like, yeah, I've known. So did that magic kiss not work in Superman the movie? Or Superman 2? It makes no sense. I rewatched the movie. I forgot all about that part. I rewatched the movie before doing this review, and I watched that one. I don't get it. So the magic just didn't work, and this whole time from Superman 3 and Superman 4, they don't teach you knew that he was Superman. And there's a scene in the beginning which was actually a pretty well done scene, I would say. It's so pointless. You see Clark, he goes back to Smallville to his farm, and it's on the market, and one of the guys trying to sell it meets him there, and they're talking, and he's like, oh, he talks about how like he has these people are gonna come by who will buy it and turn it into like a shopping mall or whatever. And Clark's all like, well, I don't think that's right. I'm gonna hold out until a real farmer would like to buy the land. Man, that's the scene. It's just I'm talking about that, and then it ends, and there's never mention of that whatsoever. And it's like, what? Like, was I building to something? Because it didn't really build to anything. Most of the characters are dull. The new characters are dull. Like Lacey Warfield, the girl gets brought into space and can breathe. She's really dull and stupid. It's just it doesn't work, and it's a sad thing to watch. This series just goes so low. But like I said, it could have been. I think it could have been alright if done well. But overall, it's just a bad movie. Out of 10, due to a teeny bit of nostalgia, I know as a kid I liked this one, and due to Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman still being pretty good, I would give it. I'm gonna be a little generous. I'd go 2.5. 2.5. Yeah. Even though I say the movie's like terrible, it's not Batman and Robin standards of bad. Like people are calling it like the Batman. It's as bad as Batman and Robin. It's not. It doesn't piss you off as much by the ridiculousness and just awfulness. It's just a really badly made movie. If that makes any sense, it's not as bad. That's just my opinion. So Superman 4, easily the worst of the bunch, but it's not over. So join me next time for Superman Returns. Until then, talk to you guys later.